Alright, well, somehow I feel like this is gonna become a theme where I finish up my notes about a video I want to do in my car in the parking lot, and then I do a video on it and try to explain some shit. This video is pretty much going to be about why you should start a tax deferred or less tax liability like retirement account, especially as a server. You don't have any like savings plans for the most part. I noticed a few big companies will offer servers a 401k, and they'll you can do some of your pre-tax check, which is nice. You actually get a little bit of a check, and they actually put it towards saving, which is phenomenal. Anything to save money, especially when it's so come and go as a server for most people, phenomenal. I wish I worked at one of those places, but my company doesn't offer a 401k. Also, there's generally like no retirement benefits whatsoever. You've never heard of a server being a pensioner in your whole life. Dental is hard to get on its own. It's like, I guess due to how quick the turnover is in restaurants, like it's not worth investing in people that aren't going to stick around. Real quick, all this is a moot point if you don't have an emergency fund. Like, if you don't have the discipline to save like a couple grand in case you get sick, you're like, having a retirement account isn't going to do a whole lot for you. Like, you need to have dry powder cash sitting on the sidelines waiting for something to happen, just in case you do come across a situation where you can't show up to work for a week or two. Like, let's say you caught corona. I mean, that's the big thing right now, but it's for real. If you have to go on a ventilator for a while, shit, I mean, you're not putting plates on tables, so you're not making money. All of this is not financial advice, but this is what I was doing. This is what I've been doing, and this is what has produced a very positive and good return for me personally. Two types of IRAs. You can go traditional or you can go Roth. In all likelihood, the money that you put into a Roth IRA, where all of your gains are untaxed, as a server, you're not making a whole lot per year, but you get to use your effective post-tax dollars, right? You can invest anything post-tax in a Roth IRA. That's massive considering the tax implications you get as a server. Roth IRAs are designed for people who have a low income now who are going to graduate into a higher income tax bracket later. If you're investing $6,000 a year in a Roth IRA, you're going to outpace your serving income 30 years, easy peasy. 25 years, easy peasy. 20 years, you're pushing it. But, I mean, probably around year 25, track S&P 500, put in a few picks that you like for stocks. You'll probably be making more in your retirement account than you do at work on a monthly basis, even with just the $6,000 yearly limit to a Roth IRA, like contribution limit. That being said, again, I've mentioned it before, but there's a 12% single income tax bracket up to $40,000, and your post-tax dollars go really far in a Roth IRA if you're single and doing it like that. There is a penalty for withdrawals in a Roth IRA as compared to a traditional IRA, but that's a good thing. It keeps you invested. If you have to pay 10% of your money to take it out, that keeps you kind of in the game, in the headspace of, well, this money is for me later when I need it, when I'm retiring, when I want to quit my job, when I want to blah 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 blah, and it keeps the compounding effect of your money working for you. It's a big deal. Again, you already need to have dry powder on the side. You already need to have $3,000, $4,000 if you're, depending on your living expenses, at least 2 months of your tips saved. Like, before you do any of this, you need 2 months of tips saved, period. If you, Lord only knows what can happen to you. And you're not getting any benefits, so it's not like you're getting PTO for the most part. And if I do know restaurants that do give PTO, but 1 hour PTO for every 30 hours worked is not going to cut it. Just being straight up. The benefit to a Roth IRA that I think is super cool is you can pull out $10,000 for your first home. So if you started a Roth IRA, 18 years old, just jumped on the bandwagon and put money in there year one, by the age of 23, you could have a decent chunk of money for a down payment on a house. I mean, it would definitely be an FHA loan. So, it would be a federally backed loan, but with decent credit, you could afford a nice house and get out of the renting game at 23 by serving if you started at 18. The last bit of this video is going to be a bit different, but I think it's important because a lot of people that I know who are in the food service industry are extremely scared to take risks with their money, even though I see the same people smoking in their cars 2 gram blunts every single day. They'll do that, but they won't cut the blunt in half and invest with the other $10 because they're essentially afraid of the risk. All of this is not financial advice, again, but these are personal anecdotes that I found to be true. And this is advice that I've picked up along the way. Notes. So, sorry. My greatest success in, any stocks that I've held, or any money that I've made in the stock market, or anything that, produced a great return for me that I wasn't surprised about, right? I've made some stupid risks and been surprised with, oh, I made money on this. Yeah, it's not a good idea, but pretty much anything that I knew, I didn't know why it would work, but I knew it would eventually work out, is because I worked with it on a daily basis. Most corporate restaurants get all their cleaning products from Ecolab. I don't know where you work, but literally everywhere I have ever worked, even if it wasn't corporate, has used Ecolab products. And I kind of woke up one day and was just like, well, shit, if the people that pay me are paying them for their products, like anyone who's ever paid me to put a plate on a table has been paying this company, that might be a good company to own. And it hasn't done me wrong so far. I've had a Roth IRA for 3 years. I'm 22. Go back and look at the price of Ecolab. It's done all right recently. But it doesn't have to be limited to just that. If I notice that the company that I'm working for is remodeling all the kitchens, and they buy a brand new grill or something, right? Just take 5 seconds and look at the name on the grill. And just know that your company probably spent hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, paying that other company for some grills. You have an advantage in the stock market. You can have an advantage in the stock market based off the fact that you can just kind of look at what's going on around you. I know I do. And I just kind of see where my company's spending money. I don't think that my company is a very good one, but I think that they are paying very good companies to stay in business. I wish I knew who our food supplier was. I'm not ever here for the food deliveries, but it would be interesting to know, because that's what a restaurant is. I mean, it's basically a brand and real estate combined to sell a product, which is food, right? So whoever your restaurant's paying for food, they're buying it at a discount and selling it at a premium. They're creating a margin. It's also helpful to look at the place you're at. And if it's a publicly traded company, like if you work at a Darden restaurant, if you work at Olive Garden, Cheddar's, Longhorn, anything like that, would you invest in a company like that? I mean, think about it. Is there a demand for that product? Are you always having a wait at the door? Because if you're always having a wait at the door, that means people are willing to pay for your shit and wait to pay for it. Like, they're willing to stand in line for a while. Like, they're willing to sit in their car at this point for like an hour and a half just to eat a steak at the restaurant that you work at. That's a pretty high demand. And I mean, with that kind of demand, you can pretty much set the price at whatever the fuck you want. The company that I work for, I would invest in. I see how things are trending right now. It seems like they're cutting corners on the budget. They don't seem to be going the extra mile to ensure quality, let's say. But I noticed that some places are, right? And me, who has experience in the restaurant industry, can go to pretty much any restaurant and see like, wow, they're cutting corners, or wow, they're really investing into this experience or this product or this anything, and it's producing a good return for them. That being said, just like check out what your company uses and who your company pays to stay in business. If you don't like your company, but you kind of know, like, hey, I've worked at 3 or 4 different restaurants and they all use the exact same brand of heat lamps, just fucking Google the name. See if that company's out there somewhere. I've worked at 7 different restaurants and they all use the same, like, cleaning products. Like it's all you have to do is take note of where your money, of where your company's sending the money that you produce. You know, definitely as a server, you're producing sales for your company. See where they're putting that money that you made for them. Like, I go in there and I make sales. What are they doing with the money that I'm making for them? And am I willing to, you know, buy that? Long video this time, but I think it's seriously important to begin saving early and finding a vehicle that you like. I think that a Roth retirement account is good for me, and that might not be suitable for you, but I think personally that more servers should be putting aside a portion of their income than currently do. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.